Hi everyone, this side Unnati, आपके दोस्त and आपके host. And today we have a very prestigious guest with us, that is Satakshi. She will be guiding us with her remarkable journey. So yeah, welcome Satakshi. Happy to have you.
Hello everyone. Thank you, Nati, for giving such a nice introduction. I'm very excited to interact with you all. So today, this is the much awaited session on Google WTF program. And so let's start with our presentation. So what we'll be doing is, firstly, we'll have the presentation, and in case you have any doubts, we'll cover it at the end of the session, right? So you may pass on your comments and everything, but I'll take the doubts at the end of the session. So here we go. So, so before we start the presentation, here's the disclaimer. WTF program has no fixed eligibility criteria and selection process. It changes for every cohort. So what does this disclaimer actually mean? So WTF cohort has so far have had two cohorts. So the first cohort, it was meant only for third and fourth year students, right? And the second cohort, which I am a part of, its eligibility criteria is for the first year students, right? So you can't say that this year who will be eligible. Will it be second years, third years, first years, or what? So it has no fixed eligibility criteria. So you should not be thinking that I am a second year or I am a third year, I won't be eligible. Anything can happen. Eligibility has not been announced so far, right? So moving on to our next slide. What is WTEF? Women Techmakers Engineering Fellows Program. So, this program was originally called as Talent Sprint Women Engineers Program, supported by Google. So, the name changed to Women Techmakers Engineering Fellows last year. So, this program is basically a program which is run by two organizations in collaboration, which is one is Talent Sprint and the other one is our Google, right? Everyone knows Google, but no one knows that it's actually Talent Sprint as well as Google. So you all would be thinking that what actually happens during the program and everything. So it's Googlers are not there to teach us, right? So it's pretty obvious. Googlers they won't be having teachers, right? Who can teach us or anything. They have mentors who guide us through the way for achieving better. They give us tips and tricks. They tell us that okay, this is the way which is right, and you should be working on projects in this manner or that manner. They are basically mentoring us. But our teachers, our professors, they are from Talent Spirit. They are the ones who are actually teaching us skills, right, to become better software developers. So what this program is all about, it's so first thing which we are taught during the program, it's professional coding. So what this professional coding means, you'll be like, okay, we are already in the colleges and we are taught coding. How is professional coding different from normal coding? It is very different, trust me, like very, very, very different. So it is called as clean coding. So what is clean coding? When you're writing a proper program, usually during competitive programming or anything, people usually don't focus on the names of the variables or the spacing between the operators and the variables, and we are just focusing on finding a solution to a problem, and we're not looking about the build up of the code. But when you're in a company, it's not just you who will be working on a program. It's so many engineers, so many software developers who will be reading the code, who will be editing the code in the future. So you have to write the code in such a way that the moment a person sees your code, it's pretty clear that okay, this is the motive of the code, and yeah, so that is called as professional coding. So for about initial 2 months of our program, we were just taught how to write clean code. Even when I joined the program, I was like, okay, is it the program? Like we'll be taught how to give spaces before and after the operator. But yeah, that's a life skill which everyone needs to know. Every software developer should know about this skill. And yes, so the second thing which we get is Google Edge, of course. The name of Google has been added to our name, so that provides us an edge to our personality. Yeah. So third point, it's learn from the best. So trust me, like the mentors and the teachers, they are the best people who can guide you towards a journey to becoming a good software developers, the mentors of Talent Sprint. So he's a Shokan, if I have to be precise enough. So he's the best mentor you can ever have, and he teaches you the skills which are like out of the world. He teaches you those clean programming skills. He teaches you, you ask him that, okay, we want to learn this skill, and he'll teach you. So, and such amazing people are there who are a part of Talent Sprint and who are actually helping us towards this WTF program. Then there are Googlers who keep on mentoring us regularly. We have our sessions, like we have one mentoring session once a month, right? So from Googlers, which is official. Other than that, we keep having other sessions as well. So there we get to interact with the different Googlers. So it's basically like all we are 124 women engineers right now who are under this program. So we are divided into groups of like 8 to 10 girls, and we are being mentored by 3 to 4 people from Google, right? So we have the group, and we have meetings with Googlers at, once in a month, which is scheduled, and we get to interact with them on various topics, right? And that's like one of the most amazing feeling that you get to interact with Googlers. They know your name. If you get to interact with such amazing people, you build projects and you want to live feedback that how your project is like. So you may just go to them anytime and you may ask them, okay, how is my project? Will it be feasible, or is it a scalable product or anything, right? So you may just go and ask them for their feedback, and they are always there to help you. So that is what we get through this WTF program. Then cash scholarships. Yes, we get the scholarships for the program, but instead of calling it as a scholarship or a stipend, I'll call it as we get, these are basically our necessities. We have to travel to an offline boot camp to Hyderabad. So what Google does is that they don't want any girl to not be able to attend this program due to financial constraints. So they just provide us this financial stability so that we don't we are not so that we have that financial stability to attend this program effectively. We have all the technical resources and everything. So this is not basically a scholarship. This is, I would say, as a need which is catered by Google for all the women engineers, right? And then we have the career in the big MNCs. So yeah, we get to interview with different companies. So the girls from the past cohort, they are in Microsoft, Google, Flipkart, Adobe, like all the big companies, Amazon, and everything. And of the present cohort, there have been around 20 girls so far who have been selected in Google STEP internship program. So yeah, that is what this program gives you. So what is the application procedure? So this is the most demanded topic. You want to know how to go through the program. So first, let me discuss the eligibility criteria. So as I said, it's not fixed. For cohort 1, it was for third and fourth year women engineer students. And the one thing which has been similar for both the cohorts was that women who belong only to CS or IT branch have been taken into consideration for the program. I don't know about if the eligibility criteria changes this year, but this is one thing which has remained constant for both the cohorts, right? And then you have to have good academic grades. 70%. It should be above 70% in 10th and 12th standard. So, and for second cohort, it was just meant for first year students, right? And for third cohort, it is yet to be announced. So let's move on to the selection process. So the very first stage of the process, it's the online application form. So during our cohort, the application, if I remember it correctly, the applications opened around February, right? So this time they have not been opened yet, but yeah, they'll be opening soon, right? So in the application, what are you supposed to fill? Basically, you'll be asked to upload your resume. Now you'll be wondering like what should I add in the resume, or how should my resume be looking so that it is selected, right? So let me tell you one thing. I'll just tell you my personal experience. I don't know about what will happen this time, but when it was our turn, we were first years, right? So the WTF people, they have this thing that these are first year women engineers and they don't have these skills or knowledge of building a good resume. So they don't expect you a good Google resume. They don't, right? They'll consider you for your passion towards technology. They won't be looking for, okay, that there has to be the work experience, so there have to be so many projects or anything. No, they won't be looking for these things. They just want you to be passionate towards technology. Other than that, what you can add to your resume is you can add your school achievements. For example, many of you would be NTSC scholars or KVPY scholars, or maybe you would have won some national level athletics competitions or anything, like even like smallest of achievements. Sometimes what I believe is sometimes even winning a poem competition in your school really gives you confidence, right? And that matters to you a lot. But you would be wondering that should I add this to my resume? Like it is not so big, it is not national level or anything. Add it. I'll suggest add it, but add it in such a fashion that your learning is highlighted there, right? For example, if you are putting that I was the winner in the poem writing competition or anything, write it like I was given the chance to participate in this competition, like in a short, right? I'm just briefing you out how it should create an impact. You should be like, it was a last moment project. I didn't know it, and I participated in it, and I won it. So that is how you create an impact. That okay, this person can perform even in the pressure situations. So this is how you make things highlight on how you highlight things on your resume, right? So this is about resume. Other than that, what else is needed on the application processes? If I remember it correctly, there were certain questions. So I won't say that just write something very big or anything. Be honest. Just be honest. Your love for technology should be there, should be clear from your answers to the questions. They are just looking for people who have love towards technology, who are passionate towards technology. And let me tell you one thing, they are not looking for great technicians or great engineers. Your first years you won't be, right? They are just there to mentor you, they want to teach you, so they just want a passion in you. They don't want great technical skills, they are there to build your technical skills. They just want you to have the passion to learn, right? So have that thing in your head. Don't think that okay, I don't know coding or I don't know programming, will I be eligible? If you have the passion to learn, you will be eligible, right? So second thing is, after the online application comes the aptitude test. So aptitude test has two stages. The first stage, it's the online MCQ round, wherein we have those general aptitude questions like A is the father of B is the daughter of C, what's the relationship between B and A, like those basic questions. Then mathematics problems related to probability on an easy level, no base theorem or anything, very easy level problems. Then those general aptitude tests which you would have seen in your even in your school, like that's the aptitude test which we faced. Then the second stage of aptitude test. Aptitude test has two stages. One is the first online aptitude test, which is basic MCQ. Second is the English speaking and writing test. So your English speaking, writing, and reading skills will be tested. So they'll be giving you passages which you have to read aloud so that they can test your pronunciation as well as your reading ability and speed. Plus, you'll be given the MCQs to solve those certain verbs, prepositions, and those questions. This is just this part. English test is just so that they can ensure that when they're teaching, you're able to grab whatever they are teaching, because the entire course will be in English, right? So they just want that everything should be, the student should be able to take everything they are teaching, right? So this test is meant only for that purpose. Then after clearing this aptitude test stage, the next stage is online Python training. So, for many days, I have been receiving these queries on LinkedIn that, ma'am, I don't know Python, I code in this language, or ma'am, I don't have any coding skills. What should I do? Will I be able to crack the coding round? Yes, you will be able to crack the coding round when I participated in this program. I just used to code in Java. I had no Python skills, right? So this WTF people, they organize a 5 days training program, right? And they give you recordings of the sessions, and you just go through those sessions. They are not recordings, as well as there are live training sessions, right? So you just go through those sessions. They're like enough. Just go through those sessions and you'll be able to crack the online coding assessment. Those 5 days of coding is enough to crack the online coding assessment. Trust me. Like for me, it was. I, as I said, that you have to have that passion to learn. If you just want to learn something, you'll be able to crack everything. So this is what is there. Then the next round is the online coding assessment. So there were two parts. Initial was the online MCQ round. It had around, if I remember it correctly, it was 20 questions. The entire round was of either 1 hour or 2 hour. I don't remember it correctly, but yeah, right. So first half was entire round. It's not just about the MCQ or the proper coding round. Entire round I'm talking about. I guess it was 2 hours, right? So we have an MCQ questions which are related to coding, right? Like list comprehension in Python and just very basic till the stage they'll be teaching you in the online Python training level. That is what they'll be asking in that MCQ questions. Then the second stage comes, that is you'll be given three. We were given three coding problems, right? And we had to write a proper code to solve those problems. So when it was my turn, I could solve two problems completely, and the last problem I had written the code, but I couldn't test it. So I'm not sure whether it was correct or not. But yeah, this was my performance. I'm not sure about how other girls performed, or are you required to solve all the problems? But yeah, this was my experience with the coding assessment. After clearing the coding assessment, you get a call for the online interview. Now you'll be wondering, like, interview this and that, what they'll be asking, what coding questions they'll be asking. No, it's not. They won't be asking you any coding or technical related stuff. It's just basically they'll be talking to you about your availability for the offline boot camp. They'll just be asking you certain questions to test if you're actually passionate about technology, or you were just faking out everything during the program. So they'll be asking you certain questions that, okay, if you get an internship at, this is my question, right? This was the question I received, that suppose you get an internship at Google during the program, and suppose you are a part of this WTF program, what will you prefer? Will you prefer going for this WTF program, or will you prefer Google internship? So my answer to this was that you have mentioned in your program brochure that we support internships. So I expect that if I get selected for Google, you'll support me in that. So they were like, yeah, you are true. So this was my answer. Just have your facts cleared about the program, right? So before registering and everything, just read everything about the program, what the program is all about, and be passionate, right? Then the last second stage is enrollment. When you clear the interview, you get a mail to enroll and give your confirmation whether you'll be attending the program or not. Now, the last and the final stage, which was actually not planned, but it became a part during our cohort. So during our cohort, what happened was that there were so many registrations, and there were so many deserving female candidates which WTF program received, and they couldn't shortlist the selected 120 girls which they were supposed to shortlist. So what they did was they shortlisted around 150 women engineers, and remaining 50 were waitlisted. Right now, they had to do something to shortlist 120 women engineers out of these 200 goals. So what they did was we were trained for 2 months, and that has been the most difficult part of WTF program so far. Our sessions used to be like Monday, Wednesday, Friday. We used to have 5 to 8 evening sessions. Then on Tuesday, Thursday, Saturday, we used to have assessments at 8 a.m. in the morning. And on Sunday, we used to have an assessment from 7 a.m. to 11 a.m. for whatever we were taught throughout the week. So, and this was running for about 2 months, if I'm not wrong, and this was the most hectic part of the entire program. And the girls who survived this stage, they finally became those women tech makers engineering fellows. I don't know whether this stage will be there in your selection procedure, but yeah, this was in our selection procedure, and this was the most difficult stage I consider, right? So let's come to the next part, which is perks of WTF. So, mentoring by senior engineers at Google, as I mentioned earlier, that they are such amazing people. Like, for example, I said that it's not just about that they are our mentors, that is why they are being humble with us. No, this is one thing I love about Google, that the people at Google, they are very humble, very, very, very humble. I have interacted with many Googlers who have been my mentor and who have not been my mentor through my LinkedIn. And one thing is very common, they're all humble. So even if you think, no, many times we think that whether we should approach a Googler for referral or anything, I'll say go. At least go have a talk. If they reply well, well enough, right? If they don't, okay, fine. Just keep modifying your messages and everything. So you'll learn throughout the journey. And Googlers are very humble. They'll give you every chance to learn, right? So yeah. Now the second stage is build projects and real life user cases. Now there was a stage of WTF program wherein we were required to build projects in a team. So we were allotted to random teams. There were teams of three girls each, and we were just allotted a team at random. So my team members, they were from Hyderabad. So they either used to speak in English or in Telugu, and I'm a person who speaks either in Hindi or English. But when it comes to work, I always prefer speaking in Hindi because that's what I prefer, right? But building a project with the people with whom you have to interact only in one language, and that too which is not your first language, right? So and then building projects which are actually big industrial projects. So that is what you get during this WTF program. That is the experience. And yeah, so we had built a project on cyber security with the encryption codes and everything. But there were many big projects, I would say. Like, my project was nothing in front of the projects which other girls had built. Their projects were amazing, really very, very, very amazing. Then global coding challenges and hackathons. Now what is this? Basically, I won't say that WTF asks you to do these things, but you get a community, right? You are a part of a community where there are 124 girls, and girls are girls. They'll share opportunities like fire. So this is what happens. We have a WhatsApp group, and there are opportunities. There's a hackathon. They'll be like, okay, who's teaming up with me? And there will be coding challenge. Okay, who's teaming up with me? So I am a competitive coder, if people know that. So I never participated in hackathons or development projects, and I thought that these are not meant for me. For me, it's like coding contests. But when I was working on this WTF project on cyber security, I received a message on WhatsApp group that is there any girl who's interested in an AR/VR like hackathon, right? So I was like, I already knew AR, augmented and virtual reality. So I was like, okay, let's give it a try. So it was just 1 day long hackathon. I was like, okay, let's go for it. We registered, we participated in it. It was an international hackathon, and we were second in it. And I was like, whoa, like, is it? So being a part of that community, you get that upper edge. You think of those big projects and you build them. So yeah, that is one experience. And then there are many coding challenges you'll be participating in, because everyone is participating in, so you are encouraged to participate, right? So that is one thing. Then present technical papers and projects. Now, for example, I'm giving you this presentation, right? So these presentation skills, how to create a presentation and everything, this is what we are taught during this WTF program. We were actually given training on this presentation things. Uh, if my mentor will see this slide, he'll be like, I didn't teach you this, creating this slide. He taught us through LaTeX, but I didn't use it right now. But yeah, it is taught us in the way software developers present, right? So that is what we learn. Secondly, technical papers. What are these technical papers? So there are many projects people are working on. So they are, if the projects are good enough, they are presented in form of research papers, right? So that these projects are being researched upon. So you get to work on these by your choice. I won't say that this is the part of WTF program, but the project I worked on personally, like that cybersecurity project, it was an existing research paper. I didn't know about these research paper things before WTF, but when I worked on this research paper project, we recreated that project. So we got to know that, okay, this is the research paper. We have to read about everything and then we have to make changes. So yeah, this is one thing. And then receive certification. Yeah, so after the program, you receive the certification, which has Google tag as well as the Talent Sprint tag. So yeah, now moving on to the next slide, that is, if not women technicals engineering fellows, so what? So everyone doesn't get selected, right? And that's fair enough. Like, I don't think that there's this one program that is in the world that will cater to all your needs. There are many programs, right? And before clicking this link, I'll show you the next slide. That is, no selection or rejection is final, right? So I don't think any interview, any program, or any internship can decide what you deserve. Sometimes the thing is not meant for you, and sometimes it's not the right time, right? And you have to accept yourself, and you have to love yourself. Just have faith on yourself that, yeah, I deserve this and I'll achieve this no matter what, no matter how many failures I face in my life, no matter how much people pull me down, but I know what I deserve and I'll get it one day. Have that thing. And there are many programs. I won't say that there's just one Google WTF program, or if you get selected your life is good, and no, it's not. I love working. There are many other girls who are working much better than me. So there's every category present. You have to have that passion. No program can decide what kind of work you'll be getting. Like, for example, if you want to be a little practical, there are around 20 girls who are selected from Google WTF program for Google STEP internship. I'm not one of them, right? So if you think about, okay, what about the remaining girls who have been selected into the Google STEP internship? They were not through Google WTF, but still they got selected, right? So it's not just the Google WTF program which will allow you to get selected for a program, or which will train you for being a Googler. You can be a Googler, or you can become a good software engineer even if you're not part of this program. So don't worry. Uh, Failures, success and failure is just what life is all about. So yeah, thank you. Any questions? And yeah, before taking your doubts, I would like to share one thing. Just a minute. So yeah, this is the page. So this is what I always suggest people about, that if you are not a part of Women Technicals Engineering Fellows, and what I said was that we get to interact with Googlers for mentoring sessions. So this is what you can use actually. This is the site which is by Google, wherein they conduct events for students, right? So for example, you'll see this Googliness and leadership interviews. So here they'll be telling you about how to crack interviews. So Googlers are actually telling you how you can crack the interviews. So why do you need to like watch YouTube tutorials or anything when Googlers are themselves telling you how to crack the interviews? Recruiters will be telling you over here. Then all the sessions we have had so far with our Google mentors are here by different Googlers. I won't say the same Googlers, but there are different Googlers. So you may just go, you may attend those live sessions and interact with Googlers. That is one thing you should do, because interacting with Googlers on a live meeting is another level experience, and you all should have that. Then it's not just about you get recognition from Googlers, but it's the confidence you build. Because even when I didn't get selected for this program, I never had that confidence that, okay, I can present my ideas in front of Googlers, because I always believe that they are those big people we can't talk to, right? But when you talk to them during these live sessions, you can make one mistake, you can make two mistakes, but they won't be judging you, right? Because they don't remember your names. And in case they remember your name, then you have got that thing to create an impact. Remember that, right? If they remember your name, right? So just go attend those sessions. There are many sessions. There's a session on imposter syndrome, on building resumes. Then if you just scroll down, you can attend live sessions, or in case you're not able to attend the live sessions, there are archives present here. See here, this is the imposter syndrome or the art of clean code. I just told that clean coding is the skill. So here they have created a slide on clean code. And yeah, so there's this page you all should go to, and this is nothing sponsored, this is my personal experience I wanted to share with you. So yeah, now I'm open to all your doubts. So yeah.
So, Satakshi, I could say that we have some questions of the students that are when this session would be like started, like when the application process would be started for this session
uh
22 and 21.
yeah, yeah, I
So,
don't know, actually it should have been released till now, but probably by March they'll be released. This is just my speculation, nothing official, because we are just fellows. We are not the official people
yeah,
over of the WTF program, so they don't share these details with us. So I can
yeah,
just share my personal experience. These official dates and everything is not my thing.
okay. So
Yeah,
no problem. I guess late Feb you said na, so it would be a late February session, like, application, I guess. So yeah.
yeah,
Uh, so any other doubts, like post in the comment section, guys.
yeah. People, if you have any doubts, just go for it. Anything related to WTF or anything you want to ask? Is the application open only for first year students? Arpana, I said no, that there's no fixed eligibility criteria. Last year it was just for first years. This year the eligibility may change. So no one can say anything about the eligibility so far, unless and until they release the official things. So nothing is yet decided. Does this program contain any scholarships and how we get it? Yeah, the program, as I told, that there is a scholarship amount, but that should not be considered as a scholarship or any stipend. It's basically the traveling and the technical say needs they have to cater. You can visit the official site. They have all the details about the scholarship and everything. I should not reveal it over here. So just they have this official site. They have the details about the scholarship and everything. So yeah, can ECE students apply? Is any ECE student a part of our cohort? Akshat, I want to say one thing that there are certain colleges which don't have CSE or IT branch, right? And they consider ECE, or there are other branches which are equivalent to CSE branch. So students of those colleges belonging to these branches are eligible for the program. But if your college already has CSE IT, so I don't know about this cohort. The coming cohort, the eligibility might change, but for our cohort, it was not. They were not eligible, right? As you said that we don't need much prior knowledge, so can ECE students participate? Jessica, I just answered that question. Then Nisha, what were the questions asked in the application form? Yeah, I don't remember. Like it's almost a year or more, and I genuinely don't remember what were the questions we were asked. I filled the application form very randomly. I was sitting in my college campus. I got that mail and I filled the form. So I don't remember. But yeah, I'll just advise you one thing, that always have a resume prepared. Like don't wait for that applications to release so that you can go and create your resume. Have your resume prepared. Second advice which I'd like to give all of you is go and build a LinkedIn profile. So what I did initially was for about a year, this is what I did was I just had a random profile. There was no display profile on it, and just my name. There was no connections or anything. And I just followed the community pages which used to post about these scholarships or the opportunities, right? So if you think that I don't want to be a social media person, I'm not, right? I don't use social media. So I was like, okay, let's just go take the resources and Yeah, so that is how you get the proper information. If you don't want to be a social media person, just go build a random profile and follow those community pages. You'll get all the details about the opportunities which are there, right? So this is one thing. Then there are many other questions. Let me just read them. Having good English is necessary for clearing interview and assessment? No, I don't. Actually, no. It's just there are many girls in our program who are not so fluent with English, right? So everyone has a different language, right? So they just want you to have those basic English skills so that you can grab what they're teaching. That's it. They won't ask you to have a great English or anything, nothing like that. Right. So next question is what kind of scholarship we get? It's cash scholarship. It's cash, right? You get money transferred in your bank account. Do online application contains essays? I don't remember exactly, but yeah, probably it has. I don't remember. I don't remember the application process. I just remember there was resume that was asked. Then how much coding do we have to know about this program? Ankita, as I said that we'll have on an online coding training, Python coding training. So that will be enough for you to crack the online coding round. That's it, right? Neenal, can EC students, I have already answered this. Can you please suggest good community pages to follow on LinkedIn? Yeah, there are many. Like you can just go on LinkedIn and in the search bar just type scholarship. You'll get many pages. Similarly, just type internship. You'll get many. This is what I used to do, and I actually don't remember any page. Otherwise, I would have suggested you. This is you how you can, right? So, how did you prepare for the aptitude test? I If I talk about myself, I did not prepare anything. I just sat randomly, but if I talk about my friends, they actually practiced code aptitude tests on online platforms. Like you just go and search for online aptitude mock tests, and they used to practice those, right? So yeah. And before Python, have you learned any coding language? Yeah, I knew Java since my school days, but I don't know about others. But the level of programming questions they had asked in the coding round, that was pretty easy. That was all that you can crack using those online coding training which they'll be giving you. So you should not worry about the coding round. They have a proper training, and if you actually attend that dedicatedly, you are all done. So don't worry about that, right? Yeah. Any other doubts?
Yeah, guys, feel free to ask her doubts here.
Yeah, anything related to competitive programming, you may ask if you want to, or WTF, anything you want to ask, you may. Now, please call me Satakshi, like no the or no ma'am, I don't like that, and that's the first rule of WTF community. You should learn to call everyone by their name. This is the first rule. So yeah, and let me remind you, like our mentor, he's about like 50 plus, and we call him by his name, Ashokan. As I said, even in the program, I said he's Ashokan. So we can't call him sir. So that's the rule you have to learn. Just call every person by their name, right? Don't call the ma'am or anything. Yeah, is the WTF program only for first year? Roy, Tanya, as I said that there's no fixed eligibility criteria so far, so we can't say anything. From which college? See again, D. From which college you are? I am from JP Institute of Information Technology, Noida.
So, I guess all the doubts are being cleared. And
Yeah,
Satakshi, thanks for joining and thanks for enlightening students with your remarkable journey. Thank you, Satakshi.
thank you, Nati. It was amazing interacting with you, and thanks, Codex Script, for actually offering me this platform. Otherwise, I would have never gone live in public for anyone. But yeah, thanks for suggesting me, and yeah.
Thank